Alright then. We're back. Let's go talk to the guy.
The man stands at the far end of the
Oh, okay.
container. It's hard to say anything more about him. You cannot make out any of his details, but you do feel the overwhelming presence of capital.
If you can hear crunching, by the way, I'm sorry, my dog's having a treat, so when he's finished, he'll be
Causes
finished.
all the hairs on your body to stand at attention, like soldiers preparing for review. Something's amiss. The light beams bend around his face and scatter in 1,000 directions. It seems the laws of physics do not apply here. They are suspended, distorted, and echo. Trying to visualize the physics at play is liable to give you an aneurysm. Don't think about it too hard. In the general stillness, only your tongue moves, flickering as you utter.
Welcome. Come in. Make yourself at home.
Oh my god.
I'm not better able to receive you. I wasn't expecting visitors today.
You can't hear him exactly, yet you're able to understand every word he says. It is very strange. An overwhelming hum covers everything. Voice doesn't escape from him.
Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen? Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question for such a long time.
Oh, this audio is insane. It's really
A
cool.
lot of people outside my circle these days. Anyhow, my name is Rustam Diodor, investor, license holder, and extremely high net worth individual. And you are?
Mr. Diodor, I am Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi of the RCM, and this is my partner.
Pleasure to meet you, Harry. Though I'm sorry to hear a good public servant like yourself is in servitude to the drink. A man can't serve two masters in my experience.
I can assure you, Mr. Diodor, that despite his vices, he is a competent detective.
Oh, don't you worry, Lieutenant. I can tell a good one when I see one. Traveling. This is a great way
What the
to get
fuck is
around.
happening?
It's fun, it's safe, and it gives me lots of time to think. By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly? Oh, interesting. I've made quite a few real estate plays over the years. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are constantly banding together to ask for money. Smart, no? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted advertising we extremely high net worth individuals are constantly subjected to. Luxury yachts, high fidelity portable radio systems, hail-proof outerwear, and so on. It just gets a bit middle class after a while. A bit bourgeois. Don't get me wrong. They're nice things. But once you achieve a certain level of wealth, your time and mental space become much more important than material goods.
He speaks from the heart. He has very different problems compared to low net worth individuals such as yourself. For example, no problems at all.
Go right ahead. Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question for such a long time. I don't meet a lot of people outside my circle these days. Anyhow, my name is Rustam Diodor, investor, license holder, and extremely high net worth individual. And you are?
Mr. Diodor, I am Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi of the RCM,
What?
and this is my partner.
Pleasure to meet you, Harry. Public service is a noble cause. To be perfectly blunt, I inherited my fortune from my grandmother, who herself was an extremely high net worth individual back in Grand. All I did was take her fortune and invest it prudently. Believe it or not, it takes more than a bit of skill not to blow a vast fortune on sailing boats, bad choices, and unsupervised state policy.
And blow. Actually, at the level this guy is, it takes several generations to do that. But, alright.
I've got to tell you, at first, being rich is a lot of work. You've got to work hard because everything's so darn expensive. You know, prices increase exponentially at this income level. But then, once you've reached my position, it's nearly impossible for me not to make money. My assets are so diversified that I'm bound to come out ahead no matter what. Some of my lower net worth friends say to me, but doesn't that take all the fun out of it? And I tell them, not really. One would imagine living such a high net worth existence is overwhelmingly exciting. But yes, as you now see, it can sometimes just stun you with its boredom.
I don't see how it's appropriate for a representative of the law to ask a wealthy person for money. This shines a bad light.
But I just wanted to ask politely.
Come now, there is not even a cent of corruption here. I'm merely being polite. So, let me check my pockets. As you may know, us high net worth individuals do not have a lot of cash on hand. Investments and liquidity are enemies of one another. I think I only have coins for coffee machines. Here is 3 real. How much can you get for this? You're welcome. You know, maybe you can make that money grow. Come up with an investment plan. How's that sound? Thanks for stopping by. If you ever have an idea you want to pitch,
Right then, so
I'm all ears.
we did that. Now we need, so next thing that we do is I need to get my conceptualization up then so that I can pitch him an idea. I'll be honest though, I've got no idea where to go. No, no, no. Okay. Yeah. Why do they keep doing that? It's like the most awkward bit of the thing so far. I open this. I genuinely, where the fuck do I go? Yeah, we can't do that till tomorrow. Oh yeah, I can talk to him, can't I now? Yeah. I guess then the only thing I've got to do now then is the whirling rags stuff. I know they're the...
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. The man says a couple of... I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Boars need more vodka?
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy.
Of course, vodka. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea. Honestly, the place is a powder keg. The cook gives you a long, disappointed look, then turns the stove off and seems to wait for you to speak. The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging.
Right, okay, so I guess I did that then.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. Yes?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy, and now she's making me play with you. Is that it, lawman?
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us? You gonna let him talk to me like that?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess I am, you big pussy. The old man sent word you'd be around again. That's the reason I'm being so forthcoming with you. Don't wear it out.
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
Man. There's no way yeah.
Again, just get the dead guy's autograph.
Good one, Titus.
About fucking time.
So that didn't fucking help because our authority is too low. Hang on, what is our authority? Oh, yeah, it's only 1. Yeah, we suck at this. Okay.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you? I am not.
You could be, Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went to law school. I am an attorney.
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International.
So fucking what? Lots of models are actually really smart people, fuckwad.
No, Glenn, they aren't.
This didn't change her opinion of you. It's not her. She's not a hardy girl. Definitely.
It won't let me ask about that one for some reason, so, alright.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez. Weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling. A sturdy metal door. This could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into.
Good. We had enough problems with bums and drunks and thieves loitering in the hallway. You have no business here.
The door rattles again, but this time you hear.
Stop banging on the door. I'm not letting any more strangers inside. Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out of here. The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. With the smoker. You already were there. Didn't work. The door.
Stop banging on the door. I'm not letting any more strangers. Doesn't matter. The police? No. Go check.
Backyard door. The door.
Stop banging on the door. The police? No. Go check.
Backyard. The door.
Stop banging on the door. Doesn't. No. Go check.
Backyard door.
Alright, I swear to Christ, I'm fucking, like, decking the old lady then, if we ever get in there.
There must be another way to the building.
I don't know what to do. There's nowhere else for us to go.
Trying to sneak up on me again?
I don't think Joyce will have anything else for us. We can give it a go.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? This reality?
Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case.
How truly curious. A sort of philosopher detective.
Aren't all.
Yes, all of them. Except the ones who are philosophers.
Actually, I've heard the analogy made by a blindingly modern school of philosophy called Carperi. It may not be as far-fetched as it sounds.
Are they now?
A deep synthesis. I'll assist you however
Okay.
I can then. Go ahead. Ask.
Alright, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrol. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes, We're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Rivisholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the blue immensities. Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Caillou. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large.
I would be happy to. What is a preposterously expensive
No.
education for? We're in Martinez. Martinez, you would be excused for not knowing about it. Revachol. Revachol is what you call a city, the great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago, the nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island, able to sustain up to 200 million people. In the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue.
I don't know why I find this fascinating. In any other story, I would probably go, yeah, I don't need to know all this. But this one, I'm like, I want to know.
I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
I guess I'll do it.
This is one thought you need.
Oh, okay.
Complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
That is understandable, but perhaps it's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always...
Oh, I guess
at
the game's
service.
being like there's more stuff to do. However, I don't know what else we can do right now, so...
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. For real.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
An almost endearingly moralist standpoint. It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work. Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
That's not good, but also they are communists, so...
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head.
Yes, we know about that.
Or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious.
I thought he was shot in the head, we heard, but again, that was from the statue, wasn't it?
Actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes, King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time. The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government. It made people overthrow their governments. Indeed, Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark. From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think. A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell. The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Then you happened. Your youth in the 30s.
Yes. And quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. So, here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom. I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things...
Yeah, technology is, but sometimes you gotta see who's pointing them.
I was born when I was.
That's why Napoleon was such a great ruler, wasn't he? Because he had like the same tech as a lot of the places he went to war with. Not all of them. Because Prussia was outdated, wasn't it? But he basically had great tactics, and he completely revolutionized how war was waged at the time, I think.
10 of the 14...
I love history, but I'm not the most in-depth on it. I just look what I'm interested in. I've only recently read about Napoleon. And not in too much depth.
I suppose I would have been in good company.
She narrows her eyes, turning her gaze to the future out of professional habit. All she can see are vague outlines of a great winding down. The doldrums. People killed, but no great transitions of wealth. It makes her feel old. And something else. Something you can't put your finger on. A quietly simmering rage.
Good question. What would you have done differently? And you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here, during the beachhead, defending the coast the day the Coalition took the city.
The cold runs down your spine. She gestures toward the waters. The wind stops. There is silence on the dark water of the Martinez Inlet.
Then you would have died fighting against them. Long before the beachhead. Our time
Yeah, that's
is
fair.
a shadow cast by that day. They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer. She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind. Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. We surrendered the nation to financial colonists. No saint person identifies as an ultra anymore. Not in broad daylight. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A fitting punishment, to be forgotten, if not forgiven. Save a prayer for us in our chateaus on Azon and in Stella Maris. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time. Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
Sorry, I'm just I'm getting a lot of points. In my head, though, it's like I'm trying to think because I want conceptualization, but because that's a red check. But with that, we'll leave it for now, though.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall, a real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat. Wonderful.
What's Esprit de Cause again? Oh yeah, okay.
The girl in the old lady rags looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Cattle has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
And what would that be? Ah, yes. That is what counts, I suppose. For my part, I was more of a new girl. The new. A cultural era. And the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary Revachol. It was ultra-liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now, wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there? Ah, yes. This is not very central to reality, is it? I can't be 100% sure, but I believe he died due to complications from venereal disease.
Oh, of course. How based?
All of them.
All?
All of them.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
I'm afraid no. But then again, one can't be entirely sure. It's all part of his mystique. Ask someone else and you may get a more champagne-colored take. Anyway, what other basic facets of reality should we discuss?
6
Ooh!
kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
You? You're an officer of the RCM. Preciso Mundo. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
We are.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
Because, wandering commenter, I don't care, because using AI art is just fun and stupid. And I'm not profiting from it, and I'm just having a laugh. If I had money, I would pay someone. But I don't, and I'm doing this on my day off. So, how can you internally justify using an AI-generated thumbnail for a stream of Disco Elysium when the concept of generative AI is fundamentally I'm assuming, do you mean anti-thematic? Anathema to the, to the themes and message of Disco Elysium. Well, I'm playing Disco Elysium, so I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know what the themes are, do I? Fucking dumb retard.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
Also, I don't think AI art is a bad thing. I don't understand the arguments about it. It's fucking like just... I don't like it because it's a tool. I think it's only bad when people like pretend it's their like unique art. Like it's not... I didn't make the artwork. I put it in a program, press send, it gave me something, I went, that looks fun, and then I was like, I'm going to use it. That's it.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Actually, hang on. I'm going to clip this, actually. So, about 45 minutes in, I might make a little short thing of my response. I think it's funny that people give a shit about AI art. Fucking stupid. Yeah, sorry. Permit me to conclude this. Who are you to me?
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law.
Yes.
He's being sorry.
Oh,
Yes,
I didn't.
That means, permit me to... And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I am here...
A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly. That's all. The doubt is fully formed in your head. The alien feeling persists. You just can't word the question yet. You have to complete the jamais vu thought first.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Saint-Baptiste, LUM, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. 20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name. A breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something. Or someone.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long. Why Dolores? Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion. It's a pleasure craft. A 19-pacer. It also happens to be rated.
I think it's quite
for
soulless that she
everyone
doesn't name the ship. I'd name everything,
so
you know.
These days, I mainly use it for business.
My car is called Link because there's some... It's sort of vaguely... Like, I call it Link, obviously, but it's like some of the letters on it vaguely spell out Link.
My
So,
sloop?
he
I
has
like
the
it a
name
lot.
Link. He's a good boy.
It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming.
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but 2 insulindic regattas. Even finished once. The other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now.
Actually, you don't. The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials.
The Wayfarer Act is one of the few pieces of legislation governing human interaction in the Revachol Zone of Control, along with the Emergency Trade and Ailments Acts. It's one of the foundational laws in Revachol, designed to limit the authority of local institutions. Part of it prohibits the RCM from requesting most documents and licenses without permission from a coalition representative. It's a law that keeps Revachol what it is, in limbo.
No need to resort to self-pity, Detective. We can still ask for her passport.
Of course. Any more questions about the boat, sir?
Hang on, I just had a thought. Let me just... I'm really sorry. Yeah, lol. Can't find anything. The only thing, because I've not played this game that much, but I can't find fucking nothing online about how it goes against the themes of Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium used to have the theme about, like, sort of reality being awful and people are doing their best.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down. You're not? Okay then. Just keep on admiring the boat then, unburdened by envy.
Good. You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
Finally, time to choose sides.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verm-like corruption. Reaching into
That was one of the things about it. I know I said earlier that I liked him. I think he's a fun character, but in real life, I don't like him. He's a dick, but...
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take?
Okay.
Natural? We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
The lieutenant looks at you, and I swear his jaw muscle is trembling.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this, to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Did he now? Well, then it should be any day now. Unless, of course, he's lying to you. Anyway, was there anything else you've heard?
Perhaps he is.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that. Such referrals may sometimes get you information from a man like Everard. Did it?
Detective, I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
I wouldn't have taken Everard for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress?
No, it was more like he wanted things to get worse. In secret, of course.
Or he wants you and me to believe he wants to go to war.
There's always that risk, man. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
This gave her pause. She's pensive suddenly. Hard to say about what. Have I underestimated the Union's ferocity? She has to ask herself by now.
The company did not send mercenaries after the Union. I told you in great detail about the mistakes my side made. And of course,
We're only telling you what he told us.
I just hope you don't share Everart's view on things. After all, as he said, one's dead now. The Pine certainly hasn't killed any of theirs.
Let's keep it that way, she means to add, but then doesn't. Look who's defensive suddenly.
I don't want to tell her the top one.
How benevolent. Hopefully they'll help you sort this whole business out, if they haven't already.
We cannot discuss the specifics of an ongoing investigation, ma'am. Besides, you haven't exactly been forthcoming yourself.
That is only fair. Well, I hope it yields...
Alright, good, yeah, okay, I didn't want to say more anyway. Oh no.
You'll have opened that door for naught. Anything else? What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating. Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it? Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
With longing. Clear and simple longing.
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another. Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not. Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats. Like reavers, we told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since
Oh yeah, he said that, didn't he?
in 08. Imagine a youth centre with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it. Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him. Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it than usual.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information? Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times. Incrementally. Yawn. You'd get there faster with a little speed. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment. The kingdom is difficult to comprehend and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual. Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising? That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
Why all these thoughts, like, give me, like, negative? Actually, I know I didn't want to, but I'm actually fucking curious. Oh! Okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's, I guess, me being stupid. So, yeah, I genuinely didn't realize this. So, these internalized... Shit, sorry. The internalized thoughts are only when you're trying to think them up, and then you get the bonuses once you've thought them up. Okay. So, maybe yeah. Alright, we'll start thinking of some of these, especially with the ones that have the ones I'm not too bothered about. Well, anyway.
Yes?
Oh, actually, hang on, might as well, because I don't know what else to say.
Yes? What about me? That's correct.
That makes him a Beano Clad. Completely uncopped material, if you say so yourself.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome.
You could use a good, normal pair yourself.
No.
The lieutenant nods.
Good. Let's change the subject.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Man, it's only 3 and I oh, hang on.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Tell you what, let's try the other thing first at the bookstore, because I genuinely... I don't know where else to go. Like, we've done everything, and we can't go to the village, I think, until tomorrow. They said it should be... The repairs will be done for Wednesday, they said, so... There's nothing to...
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
Oh dear. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't know what else to do, so fuck it. We tried.
Ow. Shoot. Whose moronic idea was it to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt?
Are you alright? These looked pretty intense and painful, I must admit.
What is going on there? Are you really trying to break down the back door? I warn you, don't tempt the spirits, officer. Don't tempt the spirits, or you'll damage the holy wards on the door.
It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. It's still locked and closed, covered in dozens of little charms and trinkets.
Well, we failed that.
A small mountain of colourful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise. An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Catawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velkrag. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense. Nonsense for anemic Beano clogs.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda, a very educational game for those interested in geography. Raubritta is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? Are you actually friends? Or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally
Why would I want
and
this?
repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real. Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them though.
Yes? Hello? Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Looking for something to read. It is. I know you are. What with?
Help her by carrying things? Maybe she needs a weightlifter. Maybe she needs you to fight her husband. No, that's not it. Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent
Why would I ask? I'm gonna ask it, but I don't know why.
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working?
Where is this going, officer?
Yes, but I don't really need to know where my husband is. Not all the time. No. Why are we still talking about it? I haven't lost my husband.
She has the husband is totally lost. You should tell her that it's okay.
What? Who said anything about shame? Stop talking down to me. My husband is not missing.
But he is. You can feel it. Or maybe it's something else then.
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home. Smoke.
The fuck is my character thinking? This is why I'm genuinely loving the internal monologue thing about how you can be like a fucking paranoid guy or just make shit up or just don't know.
What if something horrible has happened? What if they're dead? That's the bad vibe you got before.
I see. Thanks.
The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
Hello again, sir. Oh, that's Auntie Billy. She's nice if a bit distressed. I think she is a bad husband. Not very nice or helpful.
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get ladies. It's better to indulge him at this point.
Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The store is open.
The woman before.
Right then, new mission. Get a book about cockatoos.
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems.
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious. Oh, a nature enthusiast. Good choice. I knew it was a good idea to keep that around.
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues. This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang bang cockatoo. It's colorfully illustrated. Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle, and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Not great for the neighbors. Performing? Yes, birdie. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. Despite its banging name, the bang-bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminese forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminese name, bang bang, is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins. Yes, all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you?
Hang on, I just want to reread the majestic one again.
You're right. Your Majesty embodied. This big, beautiful bird belongs on your heraldry.
Incredible. I feel we've learnt so much about ourselves and cockatoos. By the way, do I have any more bottles I can get rid of?
The tear machine stands in...
No, we don't. Wait. Oh, white ones are the ones we can still do. Okay. Wait, no, but I've done that one. Hang on. A guide to... What? I've done that. Hang on, I'll be back in a sec. Right, I'm back. Yeah, so... Where is he, though? He's not in here. Okay. Okay, that's... I have my policeman cloak, though. I'm wearing it now. Knick-knack stand.
Cockatoo is this book talks about the delicate nature of twos, as where to even begin. All pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day.
Right, so I don't understand why the game's telling me that. Okay, how bizarre. They said the knick-knack stand. Is that here? What?
Looking for something odd?
I'm genuinely just like fucking lost, like what to do now.
A lorry stuck in the traffic. The windows are clear. The woman still has her no response. Wherever a couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then nothing happens. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal. Some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Okay. Which we already knew, I just genuinely don't know where else to go. Oh, hang on. I still don't know where to go, but specifically. But there's this we didn't really look into.
An old call box, an off-key melody starts playing after you ring the doorbell. Then a woman picks up the receiver.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your stupid games.
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this?
Pardon? This is not Kuno. Who is this? Please just stop calling here. I don't have time to deal with this. Thank you.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead. You ring the doorbell, but no one answers. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair. Just seeing the words Andro Orlando gets your hackles up. Its very existence is a threat to your masculinity, to say nothing of your hair. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. You hear the same waiting room music, but you ring the doorbell, but nothing. You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from the call box is silence. Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore. You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if someone has picked up the receiver, but isn't saying anything.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
It's you. My
Oh, we're not talking to anyone, are we?
It's a woman, and she knows you. Your heart beats faster. Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it. No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Michelle, just please.
Yeah.
Sounds like a ghost. Wind blows through your clothes and you feel detached from your surroundings. Inside the building, a cold memory hangs.
Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care. Ever since I came to live here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally meet again.
She sounds like she's about to cry. The cold is deep under your skin, as if you were talking to someone who's 100 years away. Somewhere inside the building, water is flooding the cellar floor. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay. Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold standing here, staring at the silent call box.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read. No, hold on. The last thing you need in your life is more hysteric emotions.
There's no reason not to try the white checks, I don't think.
Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell.
Well, their phone line's been cut, hasn't it? So.
Silence. No one answers your call. Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Unlock a new slot to research. Oh, okay. Right. Why would I want to forget stuff? I don't understand what that would achieve. leave it for now. I genuinely don't know which thoughts. Like, hang on. Bonuses from the thought. All endurance white checks unlocked. Learning cap for endurance raised to 4. We'll probably have that until like max out endurance then, shouldn't they? All exact same for that one. Like, that's great for me because I'm an intellectual character. And then learning cap for perception raised to 5. Interesting. I generally don't know. That gives me more point. Okay. I don't know what to do. We've got 3 hours left of the day. Oh, yeah, let's talk to... Fuck it, because I got nothing else to do. Let's go back to Joyce and talk about that thought we just had. Stop it. Stop it.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly. That's all.
Excuse me?
The doubt is fully formed in your head.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. Glad to have been of assistance.
I'm, like, in shock. I had a 3% chance to fail, and I failed. What the actual fuck?
Just an ordinary wall.
I'm, like, actually gobsmacked. Hey, Harry, alright.
Fuck does Kuno care?
He's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some time too. This is where he hangs out. You have to get more out of him. He could be useful.
Fuck no! What are you? Fucking mentally handicapped?
Kuno, they've almost made you a snitch now.
Oh no.
Kuno always takes the
I mean, you can join me in the chat if you want, but unless you're at work right now.
He'd rather die than work with the justice system.
Kuno doesn't.
But I'm just playing Disco Elysium. It's fun. Yeah. Wait, hang on, let me just put the thing up. So that, Alright, there we go.
Went native on the chief, huh? Those ballerina antics were reckless. Should have just punched him.
No, I failed.
Wrong. You did the right thing with Measurehead. The ballerina antics won you the fight.
Let's talk about our right to work. When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
When the man moves around, you perceive some serious abs underneath his tight-fitting shirt. This man is in shape. There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your call, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? Big mess, caused by union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch. Or you just might be paranoid.
You okay here? I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't saying anything.
No worries. I was just checking you're alright.
Yeah. Not feeling too great this morning.
Like ill or just like things are naff?
Kind of like ill.
No, that sucks. I've not been ill for a while, I've just been mentally unstable, which is normal, question mark.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together.
So,
Did you know, Will hasn't played Halo before?
Heavy lifting, cargo hauling.
I mean, I didn't, but
I know the drill.
I know it's not for everyone. I mean, I'm kind of mixed on Halo. I like it, but I don't love it like people do. You know, it's fun enough.
No, I mean, he's never played it.
Well, Red hadn't played it until we got him to, right?
I think so, yeah.
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. We were promised work. We'd be in there.
So yeah, so Disco Elysium was a bizarre game that I'm falling in love with. It's basically like an adventure game, but it's way more user friendly. But you've got all these personalities of yourself that you're kind of fighting with each other. It's quite fun.
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guard's blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Yeah. I saw your ballerina moves up there. In a real fight, these acrobatics will get you killed faster than a bullet. You caught him off guard. That only happens once. Now he's alert, standing on a narrow bridge, and my men are tired and hungry. Why don't you go arrest them instead?
Wait, I just kicked him in the face yesterday.
They have that look.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
Okay, well that was helpful.
The file cabinet stands the drawers. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up.
I basically don't know what to do now, Hero, because I can't go to the next place until tomorrow in the game, because that's when they said it's gonna be fixed. So for now, I don't know where the fuck to go. That's no, don't talk to Kim. Let me try and conceptualize then. Fuck it.
Your race descent has temporarily halted, but you...
I think this racist is better than the last. The next racist will be the really good one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That will be the...
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pseudomorphic friend has quick wits, a protruding occiput, and an indented zygomatic bone.
The lieutenant does not flinch.
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind. I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called Hardy Boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading.
You pick up on something artificial in his tone, like he's putting on an act. This is unlike him. He is usually more himself.
What essentially is this game about?
You're a policeman that's lost his memory due to severe alcohol, and you're trying to solve a murder.
Oh.
And it's set in like a post-apocalyptic fake world after like a massive revolution. You're on an archipelago. But like I've only learnt that like in the last couple of sessions because you genuinely don't know anything. You're
interesting.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race. I am not like them.
I'm not racist, I'm just better than everyone else.
I have taken
of course.
To permanently draw a phrenology.
So yeah, it's all like choices and make, you know, like there's no like combat per se. There are choices to make in, like this guy, I punched him in the face, then kicked him, and that was like combat, but that was just choices and going off your stats.
That is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself.
Hang on, let me just show you. So this is like your stats, and obviously these are all your points, but all of these are essentially part of your personality, so they kind of all vie with each other. So quite often your logic, or your rhetoric, or your empathy, or whatever, you know, will take over, depending on the context, and obviously, looking at my stats, like, well, like my lowest stat is savoir-faire, which is urges you, this one it urges you to be better than you are. It urges you to be disco, slipped by others, and blah blah. Yeah. Anyway, so this is kind of like the dexterity, you know, like the whippity wop kind of stat, and that and my psyche are my two worst ones. But I'm still early in the game, so I'm getting most checks, but I've already hit a couple of things where I've not. But it's mostly been the stuff that I'm best at, so I'm confused. I managed to convince a crate to open itself by talking to it because my rhetoric's so high.
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his heirloom...
So right now, that was my like visualization, sort of.
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yes, plenty.
Babe, thanks. But I got this.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you? What thing? We already got in the harbor. You just want to hear about races, don't you?
You are obviously a liberal, Sailite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. Do not deny your friend the truth you have denied yourself. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race.
We should get Red in here. He would definitely he needs this.
Which one do you need education? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the
They're all lactose intolerant. Oh no.
They are all lactose intolerant. A common result of inbreeding. A receding genetic.
Is that true, Tabs? Are many people in the South lactose intolerant?
I've never met anybody who's lactose intolerant.
And you're Mexican, so that obviously doesn't pan out. I mean, yes, fair.
Yeah.
You know them by the names of their nation states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians.
I refuse to feel bad when you're trying to make us watch Army of the Dead.
Simply call them Maun.
Mahoon is a derogative term for first world people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Suru and the Uhu, are much more lactose intolerant. In some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood to street parades. Green, orange.
So this is all probably going to be irrelevant. The game makes it clear, like, sometimes you can over-level points to a degree, so encyclopedia is obviously just like, you know, like you just knowing shit. But the game makes it very clear, like, the more points you get in there, you'll learn stuff that's really important. You'll also learn loads of shit that isn't. Like, oh. So, I've got quite a few points in encyclopedia, so my guy will remember shit that's, like, irrelevant to everything quite often, but it's really funny.
Inbreeding has led to a lactose-intolerant subrace whom no one can take seriously. The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the Golden Pisantic Sea, the Suren of Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königsteiners, all have type A race propensities. The other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food, which in turn only produces more sebum. As proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental type A is in retrograde. The Simonese and the Areopagite are on the ascent. The indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern islands. I am Simonese, from the stock of Ulmbrir on Ile de Fantôme. The Areopagites are the master
So much dialogue in this game. It's insane how much voice acting there is.
Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ile Marat to Ansuland, thousands of years before the lactose-intolerant Marne Occidentals discovered this place. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Pericarnassus. Ancient brains rest in their slender skulls. The latter is perfected and adapted. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite or Simeopagite super race. That is all. There are no more type A races in the world.
Nature was not capable of more.
Thanks, Inland.
Type B are the unheroic races. Amorphous non.
That's like my ability to imagine shit that isn't real.
The Khoikos and the Vacholier, they are mud-colored people.
The Khoikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
Yes. To an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a hand.
Oh no!
You will see. They are of an indistinct color, and so is their skin. Unhealthy, muddy, and ashen. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking Al-Rul and smoking the degenerate.
Sorry, the last thing he said.
For eating potato.
Oh my god, potato!
The Khoiko, countless micronationalities.
He knew the Irish were up to something.
Inexplicably obsessed with potage.
When are they not?
The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic
That's very true.
ethnostates.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semeno-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire remaining planetary crust, uninterrupted. From Holy Semenine to the Boreal Flood.
Oh yeah, a lot of the shit you do like is percentage, as you saw when I was like talking to this guy. It was an 83% chance. Obviously, you could assume that. I fucking failed a 97% success check. I was so upset. But I'm determined not to reload the game unless I feel that the game's fucked me over. Which it did once when I beat up this guy, because I punched him, and it was like, do you want to roundhouse kick him or punch him? I'm like, well, roundhouse kick is incredibly stupid where I can hit him. And the game went, oh, he caught your punch, even though... I was like, fuck off. I reloaded and kicked him, and that was the right answer, which I think is stupid. But I succeeded on the check, so I was like, I'm fine doing that again, but I refuse to admit that a jab to the face when somebody is less practical than a fucking roundhouse kick when you spend like 3 seconds winding it up.
The Vacholians, halfway between Type A and the racial Cauldron. Two makes to know right from wrong.
But the game sort of like rolls like 2 d6s, so I don't know how the fuck it works mechanically.
The single greatest failure committed by humans in our 82,000-year history on this planet.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recorded history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
Hang on.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zaras ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. a soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia, a hereditary prion condition passed from the Khoico to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Probably through trade routes and potate acid, the prime component of the potato plant. Enough of Tibet mediocrity. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be put to sleep. Your morbid interest in them worries me. It would be cruel to entertain ourselves with their deformities. Were there any able-bodied races
Oh no.
on? You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vacholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease?
Incredible. I genuinely have no idea what the fuck to do now. I don't know where to go. Like, I've been everywhere. Like, a lot of somebody said in the control room, which is here, there's a thing to open the door, but I can't see it. So I go on here, and this takes us to, well, something dodgy.
This is the Night Watchman's booth. The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The inside of the booth is immaculate. You stand and exit the booth. All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here. Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarettes. It must have been pretty hard.
Oh, by the way, when I was playing last time, when I leveled up, I said, Red, you just to give me a point to level, and I'll let you choose one. He chose the one where it made my guy a drug addict. I was like, thank you, of course.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. It really, really doesn't. Let's turn our attention elsewhere and move on.
Oh no, that's the crate that I spoke. Like I got to open by talking at it. Yeah, okay.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes, wisdom withers if not shared. and old Leo is always up for sharing. Yes, yes, everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way, Leonard Bellet, but everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town, and Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes I am, yes I am. Oh Lizzie, she is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy.
Oh, okay, it's her.
He respects that word. That's obvious.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
For a fraction of a second, there's sadness in his eyes.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years she has.
Law school? Could she be talking about the union fixer, aka the gardener?
Looks like it.
I'm not sure what a fixer is, but she is a real nice girl. Smart as a whip too.
Telling the gardener you know her name might throw her off. Perhaps something to consider later.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today? Am I going to ask? Hell, Harry. You spin-kicked my strongest man. I saw it from my window. Would you ask a man like that how he got into your container yard? It was a figure of speech, Harry. Of course I don't have a window. I'm in a container. Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. I don't know what that means, Harry, but I love it. I love your initiative. Knowing you're out there keeping
this
things running
guy.
lets me focus on the big picture stuff. Don't even tell me what was going on. Alcoholic brew, stronger, stopped it, strike. I'm just gonna let you surprise me, Harry. Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here. We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I helped you get the body down. And I find your gun. I'm not a jealous guy. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Empty all your barrels on me, Harry. It's perfectly okay. Even if you've told her everything we've talked about, it's absolutely fine.
You cannot but notice the prospect of you telling Joyce about your conversations is actually pleasing, Everard.
No, Harry. I'm perfectly neutral.
Oh, no.
100% for transparency. I know people say a lot of bad things about the Debarders Union, but we are actually squeaky.
Hey, Red.
Who that be?
Hey.
Hey, Red.
I'm still Disco Elysiuming.
I didn't see that. How's it going?
You missed the bit when we were talking about critical race theory, but in the way that was actually racist.
In game or just two of you?
Yes. Yeah, but in game, there was a guy that was just going on, and I was like, I don't know what else to do. Let's just listen to what he has to say because I don't know where else to go.
Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Harry, do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
That much is true. His heart truly is in it. Though you wouldn't think so by looking at him. If it's spilled blood you're looking for, then there certainly isn't any in his expression or demeanor now.
Yes. Low-balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock.
Write that down. Write that down.
Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost
I
gun.
mean, I did tell her about the
Tell
lost
her
gun.
about everything. Everett doesn't mind.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now. This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
Mega rich light-bending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there? Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega rich light-bending guys.
There was a guy in the container, but he didn't bend any light. That was in the detective's head.
Honestly, guys, we might be moving all kinds of suspicious things through this harbor, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega rich. I have a reputation to protect.
Up to the red today. So what are you up to today?
I'm going to catch the mega rich
Mentally preparing myself for work.
and harvest his energy to power the harbor's fog.
We
I
got one
wasn't
today.
feeling too good today, so.
I
You work at
did
night,
not
so-
understand.
What you're going to tell me
No,
next, Harry?
just in general.
Oh, you mean like for the week?
Not for
Oh yeah, that sucks.
I feel that.
actual mega rich person somewhere in his
Yeah.
container.
What about you? Did the job get better, perhaps?
Oh, I called out. I wasn't feeling too good.
Yeah.
Let's hear it, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger
Of
on
course,
personal
Harry, of
details, my
course.
leisure. You wanted something from me. What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any Johnny Fat guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating this?
The reaction appears to be sincere, but it's impossible to tell with this guy, honestly.
You've hurt me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what? I trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me.
Okay.
So do what you want, and let's change the subject.
He's hiding his real reaction beneath courtesy.
Thank you for your understanding. We will continue to do what we must.
You too, Lieutenant. You know, I like you, but you never were my favorite.
Oh no.
I'm Team Harry.
None taken. Did we have anything else to do here, Harry?
Still don't know what to do. I've got like 2 in-game hours before I can go to bed, so I don't know.
Red, do you want to watch Riders of Justice today, or do you have to work?
I could, but it would be better if we watched it soonish. Since it's
What do you
2-hour
mean?
movie. I don't know. It's close to 5.
But Red, there's Army of the Dead to finish.
No.
No, we can hold off on
No,
that.
there's
Yeah, we
definitely that.
can.
Tabs, I'm trying to make him upset. Don't ruin this for me. But it's Red. It's so good.
I mean, that's always an option, but I have a better idea.
I've already
We
forgotten
could
what happened in
not-
that film.
Well, nothing.
How far did we watch? Like 20 minutes?
No, I don't think so.
How can I help you?
Let me
Maybe
see.
like 10 minutes, just the intro.
janitor who gave me the key to his apartment
Yeah,
said the guys
we
at
just
the
got up to the intro part. The video I have is, well, it's about 19 minutes, 27
Like
seconds.
I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work.
I'm gonna stop this soon anyway, coming here for 2 hours.
We're negotiating our share. Aye. This stuff, they already covered. It's not enough. Not enough to get ahead. More about keeping us in our place. All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
Bloody communists.
This seditious talk sounds like communism. Just so we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people or deporting them to a labor camp in Southeast Grad. But don't say that out loud if you're a communist.
I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. I guess you kind of get to be the village chief.
Yeah, my brain was like, do you want to be a communist, right? And I was like, fuck off. Get out of here.
By that, you mean corruption?
By having
I'm playing a game and I got stuck somehow.
We live in a harsh and disordered world, see?
Yeah, Solitaire's really
And in
tricky.
this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish. He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most corrupt of them all.
This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today.
No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. Then how can anything ever be mine? But that's okay. We don't have to agree. The prairie is wide enough for all of us. Sure, I've had the necessary free time. Fortunately, there's always time.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, having command of his time is the most important thing. It all comes together now. The way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Boyadero code, itself an appropriation of Vespertine code, that of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends. The man sits on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide, yet it feels as if he could effortlessly go even wider, if need be, an endless torrent of time.
Okay, I think now I genuinely have done like fucking everything I can.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal, the curtains on the display.
It's a voice actor.
You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry. Different
Sounds
blues and
familiar.
greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands
What, this
a
guy?
drab grey shape,
Mm-hmm.
like a ghost.
I don't know. I've not looked who it is.
The
He's really good
lenses
though.
shift. The ghost
He almost
shines
sounds
and
like
is lit in
Idris
the
Elba.
In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature.
I don't think so, but Lenville Brown. Apparently, it's his first like voice acting role.
Hey, he's doing a really good job.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
Right, no, I think I genuinely... Oh, I'm 1 point away from leveling up. Are you fucking serious? Oh, that's actually annoying. No, come on, really? If I could level up, if I could level up like one more, I could put a point into something and then redo a few checks. There's some stuff in the bookstore I've not done, maybe. Let's go back in there. Oh, I can talk to the girl.
Hello again, sir. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed. Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes. Please do also look at our wares inside. The postcards
Yes,
and board
ma'am.
games are there, sir.
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I like to better when we were talking about whether it's a property.
But Kim, the plasmic manifestations.
No such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the...
Oh yeah, I tried to like headbutt a door earlier to open it and I just hurt myself.
Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him. You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. Head, yes.
Not head, child. Heads.
Isn't that very dangerous? Unlike you, sir. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books.
What is romance?
No, too tiring to refrain from it. It's already tiring enough to remember to say it all the time. It's nice of you to say I could stop, though. That's a friendly enough face, most of the time. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something. Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that. Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I don't think it's a romance story if the main character is no. Yes, she knows books, definitely.
Oh no, we're just traumatizing the child.
What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain? Later, when you get the chance, you should address these issues by getting drunk.
God damn it!
Maybe some about other books?
No.
Or there could be a story. Maybe some about other books. Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous.
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay.
You fail to deduce anything substantial. She waits intently.
Come on, don't be silly. That's not a proper deduction.
Right, I got my points. Just do this before the day ends. So this is one I'm not going to be able to do, but let's see what the percentage is now.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Oh, okay.
Because
Ooh.
you see it, finally. This wall is sublime. Look at it. The shadows.
See, I got a 42% success rate, but I failed the 97% success rate. God damn it.
All the other walls on all the other houses must make a pilgrimage in adoration of this, the uncontested pinnacle of warcraft, color peeled from the very face of God. Oh, Wall Father.
Huh?
He sounds tired of it all. Cindy the Skull has all the necessary materials. Talk to her.
If you must.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? More lessons in basic reality?
Right,
My
97%.
favorite part of the day. Go ahead. Ask me anything.
What is
Thank the fucking Lord.
The scent, the sound, the air.
world. The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough. There is a term of endearment they coined for it. In the DeLorean century. When humanity was high on this world. Discovering more and more of it. These archipelagos included. Elysium. It does. There are those who would call it hell. A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists. Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit. Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways. We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona. Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together. However naive it may sound, you have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it. See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today.
Kim's like, please, let's do the work. And I'm like, but philosophy.
Lieutenant, let's try something else.
Ma'am, remember you are dealing with a very sensitive and impressionable police officer who is still recovering from a recent medical episode.
The lieutenant's right. Let's change topics.
This is not going to happen with the lieutenant present, unless you can convince him to step aside. Good idea. Just ask him. He won't make a scene.
Fine.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant. Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass. Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde, an oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Moindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear. Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
The negation of being.
That's right. The negation of being. Oh, it is so difficult for us. It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost. Or extensively. Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue. It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a member of the Entreprenetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories.
Up to my gills, officer. It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension. Right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
There's a slippery article in there.
Pale when it's particular, this territory of Pale. The Pale when it's Pale in its entirety. Once you've seen it, language balks at the difference. No, detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer. An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale is called Porch Collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
You hear your pulse rise. The air feels caustic and cold suddenly.
Entreprenetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of Grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super Isola. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
There are signs of pretermodern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years. Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later. Hybrid airships, detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near pale to far pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely, then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
The pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping. What do you think, Detective? Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
One and all. They say pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything? Then tell me, what do you think of the pale? You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then... I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now?
Good luck, detectives.
Incredible. This game gets really fucking intense, and it's like, so how does this, like, compare to the murder that we're talking about? Alright, I think I'm going to stop it there, because we have nearly 3 hours, and I'm not going to fucking stop otherwise. Do.